Good morning. Good morning. This is Ted Murmagos, and this is the May 2021 edition of the Child Support Connection. And I want to welcome everyone who has either participated in the Child Support Connection for this month or who have come to our Facebook page and have taken an opportunity to look at some of the videos and interesting information that we have listed on our Facebook page. Well, we try to hold these events, this Facebook Live event, the first Monday of every month, and it's from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we've actually been doing a little bit of thinking about some things that we want to do to enhance the experience of this Child Support Connection monthly event. And probably once the pandemic works its way out, I may start bringing in some key employees at the Child Support Office and give people a little bit of a better idea of what some of the other activities that are happening in some of the different units that we have here at the Child Support Office. I'm coming to you from the Director's Office, but obviously we have about 200 employees in the state of Delaware that deal with working on child support related issues, from our operations unit to our accounting unit to our customer service unit. So I thought maybe once it becomes safe to do so, I might start bringing some other employees in and actually having a dialogue with them about some of the things we do at Child Support and what their specific role is within the organization and some of the things that their units actually do at Child Support, just to kind of enhance the Child Support Connection experience. So that's one thing I'm hoping to start doing as we kind of look at expanding the Child Support Connection monthly event. The other thing that I always have been starting to say, actually, the last couple months is from time to time we get a lot of duplication of questions. So I'm gonna, if I see in the question section, if I see repeat questions that maybe I've answered previously, I'll just refer you to come back and go back and look at this event or from the beginning, and you'll see that your question has been answered. I always like to start off by talking about the Division of Child Support Services here in the state of Delaware and some of our activities during the pandemic, just to kind of bring people up to speed on exactly where we are related to office openings and how we're operating the Child Support Office. Month after month, so I'm just going to give you a brief update. So just to let you know, we are currently still seeing walk-ins by appointment only, and that can occur by calling our customer service unit, 302-577-7171. And we have child support specialists that will take your phone calls and can basically triage your particular situation. So nothing has changed from May to April from last month. And if the customer service unit employee believes that you actually should come to one of our child support offices, they will help you set up an appointment to do so. And we are continuing to require that people wear masks when they're coming to our child support office. Our employees are wearing masks, and so just to make sure that everyone is taking care of their safety precautions. We are, as a division, at the direction of our department, the Department of Health and Social Services, we are actually beginning to work on a reopening plan and a way to safely allow walk-in customers on a larger scale into our child support offices in all three counties. Some of those things are going to entail, in the immediate time being social distancing in our waiting rooms, We actually may remove some chairs from the waiting room so that people can socially distance. Temperature checks. We have thermometers in all 3 offices that people can check their temperatures. And we can make sure that people are seen safely and can certainly be handled in a timely and efficient manner. If people don't have a mask when they come to our office, we can certainly provide them with one. And if only people who refuse to wear a mask, we're going to tell them they need to leave the building, and we will help them through another mechanism, through telephone or fax machine. We'll be able to help them through their situation. So right now, though, like I said, it's by appointment only still, but we are, as a division and a department, looking at how we can safely allow the public back into our child support offices. A lot of our employees are teleworking. We're going to start developing a process to bring people in on a rotating basis. A lot of our employees are already doing this, but to bring people back from teleworking, not on a full-time basis, but bringing them in part-time, so that we can start to ramp up again and be able to see the public once this pandemic is over. But we are currently, as an agency, working on a plan to safely do that, not only for our employees, but for people coming into our child support offices. I see we have already got some questions coming in, so before I start answering some questions, which I love, so if you're listening, please feel free to submit a question, and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. But before I do that, I just want to also give an update about the family court. Nothing has changed at the family court. They are still open, and obviously safety precautions are taking place in all 3 offices. So if you need to see somebody in the resource center about filing a document related to child support, you can certainly do that at the family court, and they've got their safety precautions put in place also. So I'm going to go ahead. I see there's a couple questions. We'll go ahead and I'll start answering some, and then we'll come back and talk about a few other things that I think are important for us to talk about. But I'm really eager to be able to bring in to this Child Support Connection some other key employees here at Child Support, so that they can give you a little bit of an idea about some of the other things that are going on here at Child Support to help manage the child support cases and help process payments in a timely fashion. So the first question is, what is there to expand? Expand into helping the father when he goes to court instead of having the court-appointed worker just for the female. So, at the Child Support Office, we are required to provide, this is not only, our requirements, but something that I try to work with our employees and my supervisors and managers and the employees here at Child Support. We are required to provide a service as state employees to the public. So we work hard to provide services to both the custodial parent and the non-custodial parent, regardless of who, male and female and all of that kind of thing. We are tasked with helping custodial parents obtain child support. Let me give you an example of something. Back in the day, we had a wanted poster, and it listed non-custodial parents, some of the most egregious non-custodial parents who haven't paid their child support orders, and we did away with that because you know what? That isn't, to me, in our philosophy here at Child Support. We don't just, we want to work with both parents and try and do what we can to let non-custodial parents know that they play an important role in the child support process. And the family court has their responsibilities, and they are the ones that actually create those child support orders. We like, and the courts like, and prefer to do it by mediation. Get the parties in a room and let's have a conversation about what the child support obligation should be, and using the child support formula to determine that obligation. But child support, the Division of Child Support Services, is a program that works with custodial parents to help them get child support payments in support of their in support of the children. But our obligation just doesn't work to support custodial parents. We really want to work closely to help non-custodial parents pay that obligation timely. When you talk about representing the custodial parent at family court, that's one of the things we are required to do by law. Provide the custodial parents with guidance and help in that family court arena. But it doesn't mean that our employees aren't there to help non-custodial parents. We are there to answer questions and provide help to both custodial and non-custodial parents to make this child support experience one that is one of mutual agreements and mutually working together on behalf of custodial parents, working together with non-custodial parents for the best interest of the child. That's something that we are trying very hard to do to support, non-custodial parents. But we are required to work with the custodial parents in that family court situation. But by no means do we just say, non-custodial parents, we're not going to deal with you. We should be there helping non-custodial parents understand the child support process. It's our goal to really help them understand what their obligation is also. So I hope I was able to answer that, but we are kind of required to be there to support the custodial parents, but also work with non-custodial parents to help them have an understanding of the child support process in the state of Delaware and to get child support payments in the door. The next question is, how long does it take to get a new case? And I think it's open. And good morning. I see you saying good morning, and I want to say good morning to everyone that's tuned into the Child Support Connection today. So, how long does it take to get a child support case open? It depends. And let me give you a couple examples. So, if mom and dad both live in the state of Delaware, and the custodial parent comes and applies for child support services by completing that child support application, both parents live in the state of Delaware, and the child support specialist can verify the information that's being provided in that child support application, or the case that we get from our Division of Social Services when Medicaid or TANF is involved. It should not take very long for the child support program, and I don't want to say X, number of days or X number of months, but if everybody is in the state of Delaware and we are working the child support case here in Delaware, it shouldn't take longer than, I would think 20 to 30 days to get the verification process done and to go ahead and for us to generate a petition with the family court and get that case over to the family court to schedule a mediation session or a hearing before a commissioner. Now, that depends on what, if everything is running smoothly. We were able to verify information that's being provided. The non-custodial parent in all brand new cases has to be personally served. So that's when we have a service of process vendor, company that we use, that actually knocks on doors and actually physically serves that non-custodial parent. In some cases, that non-custodial parent avoids being served, and that adds on to the process until that personal service can be done. That's a big hurdle sometimes for us to accomplish, because that non-custodial parent avoids the service process. But if everything happens timely, the person is served, and the courts can go ahead and schedule that hearing. 20, 25 days, and you should be getting a notice from the court that a hearing has been scheduled, and that may take a month or so to get you actually into the family court. Now, there's situations where one of the parties may live outside of the state of Delaware, and that takes a little bit longer, anywhere up to 3 to 6 months, because once we get the application, if the custodial parent lives here in the state of Delaware, we process the case, do some locate here, that Joe Smith lives in Pennsylvania at this address, And then we have to send that paperwork to the Pennsylvania Child Support Agency or the Maryland Child Support Agency. And they actually get the case heard in their court system. That could take anywhere between 3 to 6 months, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the process that's taking place in the other state's jurisdiction. This is a really good time when we talk about new cases for me to talk a little bit about some of the fees that are associated with a new case here in the state of Delaware. So if the custodial parent is receiving TANF, which is Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, or Medicaid, we get an automatic referral from the Division of Social Services. And there are no fees for the child support office to start a case for that custodial parent because they are receiving benefits from the Division of Social Services. But if the custodial parent comes and submits an application for services, there is a one-time $25 application fee. But that gives that custodial parent all of the services that we here have at child support, all of the special enforcement tools that I've talked about in the past. When we talk about license suspension, we talk about tax intercept, reporting somebody to the credit bureaus, getting a lump sum payment from personal injury lawsuit. So there's a $25 application fee. All those petitions we file at family court, all of that's covered with that one-time $25 fee. Another fee that we charge if someone has not been receiving benefits from DSS, every federal fiscal year, the federal fiscal year begins October 1st. If we collect over $550, we have to send, after we reach that threshold, we have to send the next $35 to the federal government as part of the Deficit Reduction Act. But that only happens one time between October 1st of every year and September 30th of the next year. After that first $550 is collected, we are required by federal law to send to the federal government the next $35. So sometimes you may see a deduction to your payment, custodial parent, because we've had to send that payment after the first $550 is collected. We have to send that fee to the federal government. And then there are just a few other small little fees, like if we intercept a federal income tax from the non-custodial parent, we're required to subtract $25 for a fee that the federal government charges to us to intercept that payment. Additionally, there may be a fee associated for a state division of revenue intercept. So there's a small fees associated with having a case of child support, but there's that one-time $25 application fee for the life of the case. That's a pretty good deal if we're filing petitions on your behalf and that kind of thing. But that Deficit Reduction Act fee occurs once a year after the first $550 is collected, beginning October 1st of each year. But I just want to talk a little bit about that. And certainly, if you see, if you were supposed to get a payment of X dollars and you see that it's not quite right, you can call customer service at 577-7171, and you can certainly talk to a child support specialist about that. But if you see that it was we've collected over $550 and it's after October 1st, it might be that $35 fee that we've deducted and sent to the federal government. Let's see here. My son is almost 2 and I haven't gotten a mediation date or anything. So this is kind of tags along with that previous question about how long it takes to get a case open. So we can certainly go and look at your case, and if you want to DM us or send a personal message, my community relations officer is also participating in this town hall, or this, Child Support Connection, and we can have the worker actually look at your case, and we can give you a call and really kind of see what the status is. To me, if your son is almost 2, and maybe it doesn't say how long we've had the case, but I'm kind of getting the sense that we've had it for a while and nothing has happened. It might be that there's a service of process issue, or we're having difficulty trying to nail down or verify a positive address for the other party involved. But certainly you can send us a private message and with your if you have your case number that's in your phone number, that's always great to send to us, and we can have it looked into and have the worker contact you back. The next question. I can't even get an appointment to file child support. No one even answers the phone. You stay on hold for at least over an hour. You can't walk into the office because of COVID. It's ridiculous, and I've been trying to file since October. Okay. So let's first talk about this. So, like I said in the beginning, we are looking to safely open the offices back up. I've said this before in these child support connections. We have 20 child support specialists that work in our customer service unit. We have the capacity, when we see that the call volume is getting large, or that people are on hold for a long period of time. If you're on hold for any more than 25 minutes, I know this is going to be difficult, but you have to hang up and call back in. From time to time, we hear that people are on hold for an hour. I'm not saying that that's not necessarily true. There may be a problem with the phone system, unless your call has fallen into a black hole of some sort. So please don't stay on hold for an hour. Hang up and call back in, 302-577-7171, because like I said, we're monitoring the call volume, and if we see that the call volume is getting large, or if people are on hold for 25 minutes, we're telling other folks to get on the lines and help get that call volume down, so that we can make sure that people aren't on hold for a long period of time. I know, because it happens to me when I call other companies or something like that. It's always hard to hang up when you've been on hold for a very long time. But I'm telling you, if you're on hold for an hour, don't stay on hold for an hour. Hang up after 20 minutes and call right back in. And you shouldn't be on hold for that long. And I'm kind of concerned that the line that line has gotten sent somewhere else by mistake. So I'm always encouraging people, don't stay on hold for an hour. We've got people monitoring the lines. And once the pandemic has safely been behind us, and like I said, we are already working on plans to open the offices in all 3 counties where we can safely social distance the public coming in and our employees in the public. We're working on a plan right now to make that happen. And like I said, if you call the customer service number, they'll be able to triage to see whether you truly need to come in there. This may be something we can resolve without you having to come into the office. So how does the tax intercept work? The case is filed in Delaware, but non-custodial parent lives in another state. Example, there's $15,000 plus in arrears. So depending on what state the non-custodial parent lives in, or where the case is, both states may, have the position of filing or reporting those arrears to the IRS. But only one state is going to collect that tax refund. So if a non-custodial parent is over arrears of $500 or $150 for the state of Delaware, Division of Revenue, we will submit that person's name and social security number and other demographic information to the federal IRS. We also report that same information to the state's Division of Revenue. Every child support agency around the country has a federal and state tax intercept program. So the key to the tax intercept program is that the non-custodial parent has to A, file his taxes or her taxes, and B, they have to be due a refund. If they owe the federal government or owe the state's tax agency, then there's not going to be an intercept of that tax refund. It's only when the non-custodial parent is due a refund that the child support agency will intercept that refund. here in the state of Delaware, when we talk about the division of revenue, child support is at the top of the list of if a non-custodial parent owes a state agency. We are number one on the list to intercept that person's state tax refund. But as far as the IRS is concerned, there's other programs that if the non-custodial parent has, for instance, defaulted on a student loan or owes the IRS for some sort of a fine, or if they owe the IRS, I think that's the only thing at the federal level that comes before a child support debt. But we submit that information to the IRS, and if the person does get a tax refund, we will intercept that refund to pay child support arrears off. And the minimum threshold for the IRS is if they owe arrears of $500, $150, and for the division of revenue here in Delaware, I believe it's $500. I may have that backwards, but we would intercept that. This is a follow-up to the very first question. Let's see here. In Sussex County, it doesn't happen. I was in the system as a young man, and now I'm a business owner who helps other men go through the same situation. It has not changed to date. The only question they ask is, why are you behind? And can you pay off your arrears today? That's not a help, but thanks for your answer. Last statement. Do you know some men are in jail or have been in jail only because they are behind in their child support? Have a great day, and God bless. So let's talk. There's a few things here. We certainly, and I can take care of this, we certainly at the Child Support Office, we will remind our employees when they go to family court mediation. We're required to talk to our custodial parents, and we certainly can take some time to provide information to our non-custodial parents about the family court process. And I'll certainly make sure that our employees are doing that. I'll remind them to do that. They should, and I will, like I've reiterated earlier, the earlier part of this video, we are, as public servants, required to provide information to anyone who's involved in the child support process. And I firmly believe that by providing information to the non-custodial parent, it will benefit us as a child support agency, and it will benefit the custodial parent if we can be forthcoming with non-custodial parents about their child support situation. In the state of Delaware, the family court, and I've talked about this in previous child support connections, the family court is the only entity that can place somebody in a non-custodial parent in incarceration for non-payment of their child support orders. And I need you to believe me that they will incarcerate somebody, but really, it is as a last resort. And it's for a situation where the non-custodial parent has been before the court on multiple occasions and has basically thumbed their nose at the family court and not paid their child support order. So, we certainly don't want to see people, personally and in the child support program, we certainly do not want to see people incarcerated. It is the court's discretion to do that. And it's really only after multiple, I'm not even saying several, multiple chances have been given to the non-custodial parent about meeting their child support obligation. One other thing before I move on to the next question, I would really like to hear from you if you're working with men and other people that go through this situation. We at the Child Support Office, we do a lot of outreach, and I would love to have a conversation with you offline to talk about hooking up with you to maybe provide a presentation, either virtually now or after the pandemic in person. If you can get a room full of non-custodial parents together, I'd be more than happy to come and talk to them about child support. I do it with people who are incarcerated at level 4 facilities in the state of Delaware now. I have a presentation and love to answer questions. So if we can hook up after You can, like I said, private message, and my community relations officer and I will work with you to set up a presentation. And really, I'd love to be able to talk to non-custodial parents about child support here in the state of Delaware. The next question. I was told that my case was being held up because the other party hasn't established paternity and has an active capias. I see him every day. What is the holdup with picking him up? Where is he reading the questions from? So let me answer that first question first. The second question first. There's a comment section where you just wrote your question. That's where I'm looking, and I must admit I'm not Facebook. I'm not the best Facebook person. So my community relations officer can probably provide an answer better than I just did, or if there's other child support specialists or other employees who use Facebook more, they'll be able to answer how to get to this section of the Facebook Live event. So let's talk a little bit about family court capiases. If a non-custodial parent, and I've even seen it in the case of a custodial parent, fails to show up for a court hearing that they're required to show up for, or they do not attend court-ordered paternity testing, the courts can issue a family court capias for their arrest or for bringing them in to answer why they did not attend the paternity testing or a family court hearing. I always like to use this opportunity to say this first. If you are a non-custodial parent, or you know a non-custodial parent with a capias, and they are fearful for turning themselves in because they think they're going to get locked up, I am telling you that 9 times out of 10, and it's probably 9.5 times out of 10, that is not going to happen. So I encourage you to turn yourself into family court on the capias. And what will happen is the courts will most likely, pretty promising here, that will reschedule you to either get paternity testing done or to come to another court hearing. They are not in most cases gonna lock you up. Now, if you're someone who has habitually missed court hearings, and you're more fearful that could happen, my suggestion is always to bring a lump sum payment to the courts with you and offer to make a lump sum payment on your child support case, and you will see that the courts will not use that opportunity to lock you up. So if you know somebody with a capias, I'm encouraging you, or you have a capias, turn yourself into the family court. They're going to reschedule you to get paternity testing or to come to another court hearing. Now, child support does not have a team of individuals who go out and pick people up when there's a capias. We require police agencies in the state of Delaware to do that. Now, normally what happens is it's in the capias is resolved, or the person is picked up on the family court civil bench warrant, the capias, when they're pulled over for a speeding ticket, or if they commit another crime. They address all of these issues together. So we don't have like an elite force that goes out and is looking to see family court capiases and bring people into the family court to resolve them. We really require on police agencies in the state of Delaware to help us accomplish that. So I hope I was able to answer your question. The best thing I can say to you is try and encourage him to turn himself into the family court. And if it's because he did not do a paternity test or genetic testing, he can call child support and we will help him. We can actually schedule with LabCorp paternity testing to be completed for him, and if that will help his issue. If he walks into family court to resolve the capias and tell the commissioner at the time, I've already got the genetic testing done, child support helped me do it, they will not incarcerate. I guarantee you, in that situation, they will not incarcerate him, and they will reschedule the next child support mediation for for you and him to come in and move on to the next step in the child support process. So I hope I was able to help you with that process. Get on them. You got it custom out. Okay. The next question is, I'm trying to figure out why my daughter's dad is not locked up, and he owes me $3,000. So We have, so like I've already mentioned, the whole locking up of people for failure to pay child support is not something we encourage, and not something we really try and push on a particular case, because it doesn't do anybody any good when the non-custodial parent is incarcerated. We would rather work with the non-custodial parent. And this is a perfect time for me to talk a little bit about our Delaware Fatherhood Program. And as I mentioned in previous Child Support Connections, the Fatherhood Program helps custodial parents, it helps non-custodial parents, it helps females, it helps males obtain employment. It helps them get training opportunities. It helps them get GEDs or educational programs. But we would rather work with the non-custodial parent to help them find employment so that we can issue a wage withholding to get those regular payments in the into the child support office. If you are a non-custodial parent, or if you are a custodial parent that talks to your non-custodial parent or wants to share information with them, ask them to call our child support office at 577-7171 and ask about our Delaware Fatherhood Program, and we can help them find employment opportunities here in the first state. But we would rather use our enforcement tools to get child support payments in the door, and rather than incarcerate. And quite honestly, I would never try to diminish anyone's particular situation, but $3,000, I mean, it's that's a situation where we would like to try to work with the non-custodial parent rather than look towards incarcerating someone for that purpose. We would rather like to have and engage that non-custodial parent in a discussion about his particular situation. And the one thing I always try to do, and if you're a custodial parent, you may not particularly like what I'm going to say, but when I'm talking to a non-custodial parent about their particular situation, if they've got a court order and they can't meet that court-ordered obligation because they just don't make enough or they're not working, I'm always encouraging non-custodial parents to make some kind of a payment and make that payment on a regular basis. That's better for them. Hopefully, it shows the custodial parent that they're trying to make some kind of a payment that will, show that they're willfully trying to intend on helping them support their child and to make those payments on a regular basis. But it also helps when they go to family court, and to show the court that, hey, I'm trying to make some kind of a payment, even though it's not the full monthly amount. But it's showing an intent to try and make some kind of a payment on a regular basis. The other thing is, the non-custodial parent, if you're not employed, if you lost your job because of the pandemic or for some other reason, or if you're actively trying to find employment but you're having difficulty doing that, we don't want non-custodial parents to have an order that they can't afford to pay, because ultimately their arrears continue to go up. It becomes a defeative. They feel defeated because that arrears balance is growing and growing and growing. That mountain continues to get higher to climb. I always encourage non-custodial parents, if you have a substantial change in your financial circumstances, if you've become disabled, if you've lost employment, if you've got a demotion, if you're on unemployment, go to family court, talk to somebody in their pro se office about filing a modification decrease at the family court, and get on track making those child support payments, and to make something on your own. If you're working and you don't see a deduction coming out of your paycheck, make the payment on your own to the child support office. Our address to where to mail that payment is listed on every court order that comes out of the family court. Or come to our child support office. At least in Newcastle, we have a drop box. You can make a payment in the drop box, or mail the payment from downstate up to Newcastle, and pay what you can afford to pay until you get that modification done at the family court. But you need to make those payments on a regular basis in order to support your child. And it will show the courts that you're willing to do the best you can under the circumstances. Let's see here. No need to incarcerate them it is pointless. I agree. Taking up space in the prison system. Space is needed for real crimes. Make better decisions and choices. Yeah, I mean, look, there's situations, child support, sometimes people don't like to hear me say that. Child support is an emotional situation. We want to try and work with both parents to do what's best for the child. And, sometimes custodial and non-custodial parents don't have a very good relationship, but they need to work together in order to support the child emotionally just as much as financially. It goes a long way to a child that can see their parents getting along and working together. And that family unit, just because they may not be physically together, but if they are emotionally together, that goes a long way to a child who can see their parents working together to support themselves. So that's just a very important something I can say. I agree. I don't like to see people incarcerated. I would rather see people find employment. And that's one thing. Our Facebook page has gotten a lot of activity over the last couple weeks, and I'd love to see that because we are always posting these. Facebook live events get posted there. I do videos on various subjects, and we post that there. Every third Wednesday of the month, I'm on 92.7 WGMD in Sussex County. And, I always try to encourage people to call that radio station and ask me a question. And the gentleman who wrote me earlier on this event, I'd love for you to call 92.7 and have a conversation with me and Jake Smith about child support and some of the things you think that maybe I could help with down in Sussex County. 92.7, and they have a great app. So if you have a smartphone, you can find their app online, and I listen to it from up in Dover. I encourage people to listen to 92.7 when I'm on the third Wednesday of every month. And I always try to encourage people, call and ask questions, because we like that, And just think, when you're calling and asking questions about your particular child support situation, it also may be affecting someone else that has the same situation, that's scared to call and doesn't want to call the radio station. So I'm always encouraging people to call, and let's have a dialogue about child support in the state of Delaware. I'm also trying to work with my community relations officer to go to other radio stations, maybe here in Wilmington. There's a radio station in Milford that I've been on before. I'd like to go ahead and do that again too. So, I'm just trying to get the word out about child support in Delaware. So, I think that's another good opportunity for people to ask questions, and you're going to help not only get an answer to your question, but maybe somebody else has the same situation and they'd be willing to. You're helping them out too, so it's always it's a win-win for everybody when we can work together to resolve child support. A couple other things in the state of Delaware, we require. I want to talk a little bit while I have an opportunity to talk about our license suspension program. License suspension is one of our more active programs here in the state of Delaware. In the state of Delaware, if currently, on our website, it talks about if there's an arrears balance of $1,000, or if you're 30 days, and in the Delaware Code, 30 days delinquent, we would be able to. We are technically, under the law, able to submit a case for license suspension in the state of Delaware. We will not submit a case for license suspension unless the non-custodial parent has not made a payment in 60 days, or they are $3,500 in arrears. So it's a little bit different than what the code, the Delaware law says, But we want to give, this is one way of our trying to give non-custodial parents an opportunity, because things happen, to not just right off the bat submit them to the license suspension program. So in Delaware, we can suspend a driver's license, a business license, a professional license, or a hunting and fishing license here in the state of Delaware. But like I said, if people are not delinquent 60 days or have not made a payment of any kind in 60 days, or if their arrears is not $3,500, we're not going to submit it. But the child support computer system automatically, every night, is looking to see non-custodial parents who have met those thresholds, and will automatically submit or automatically send a non-custodial parent, when they meet those thresholds, a letter. And this is another thing I always try to tell non-custodial parents when I'm meeting with them, or custodial parent for that matter. If you get a letter from the child support office, do not ignore the letter. Open it and look at it, because if we're going to submit you to the license suspension, a non-custodial parent to the license suspension program, we have to notice you and give you an opportunity to tell us why we shouldn't be doing that. But if you have a child support order and you're in arrears, we will work with you to not suspend your license. The policy here at child support is the non-custodial parent would need to make a lump sum payment worth 2 months of their child support orders for, all the cases that are meet those requirements. But we work with non-custodial parents. We're flexible. We have some flexibilities. If a non-custodial parent says, I'm working, and they give us the address for their employer, we will go ahead and send that wage attachment, and maybe we'll ask for a smaller lump sum payment. Sometimes we've suspended a license for a non-custodial parent years ago or last year, and we've gotten wage withholding payments from an employer for 6 months or longer. We will automatically, if that non-custodial parent lets us know, we will automatically give them their license back without a lump sum payment, because we've gotten consistent wage withholding payments for a certain amount of time. So, we're flexible that way. If a non-custodial parent says, hey, I just got a new job and I need my license, and they give us where they're working and we can send a wage withholding to that company, we'll do that and ask for a lump sum payment, maybe not 2 months, but it's a good faith lump sum payment from the non-custodial parent who has not made a payment in 60 days or longer, or has gotten an arrears balance that is a larger sum of over $3,500. To us, it's like we want to work with non-custodial parents. We want to be flexible, but it's important that people know that custodial parent has gone without a payment for at least 60 days. So, to us, just to go ahead and start randomly giving licenses back, it's kind of, quite honestly, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow when that custodial parent has not gotten a payment in a certain amount of time. So we always try to work with the non-custodial parent, but they can't lose sight of the fact that we have a custodial parent that has been without a child support payment. And we do want to help people. We do not suspend a license if, when we sent the notice of intent, the person was incarcerated. That's not fair to the non-custodial parent who was incarcerated, and is, obviously they have difficulty in reaching us to resolve it. We will not suspend a license for someone who's incarcerated. Now, there's situations where the person was not incarcerated, we suspended the license. That's a different story. But if someone is incarcerated, we will not do that. We're looking at other flexibilities when we talk about the incarcerated here in the state of Delaware. So there may be some changes down the road that deal with specifically with someone being incarcerated and giving them an opportunity to get back on their feet after being incarcerated. But we work closely with the non-custodial parent to try and resolve license suspension issues. And so if you're if you're a non-custodial parent, sometimes people grow up, and they realize, hey, my license was suspended, but I've gone ahead and I've got employment. Wage attachment payments have been coming in consistently. I'm going to call child support and get my license reinstated, and we will work with you to make that happen. Sometimes, and I forgot to mention this, if we get a lump sum payment from a tax intercept, or if we get a lump sum payment from certain other enforcement tools, we will go ahead and give the license back to a non-custodial parent. If that payment totals over 2 months of a lump sum payment that they would have been required to pay, we'll give that license back. So we will work with non-custodial parents. The biggest thing I can say about that is don't disregard from us if you get a letter. It's better to open that piece of mail and work with the child support office, and we will work with you to resolve your issue, whether it's child support, whether it's a capias situation, whether it's another enforcement tool that we've taken against you. Encourage the non-custodial parent. If you're a custodial parent, if you're like this other gentleman who works with non-custodial parents, we encourage you to work with us. We are not like the DMV who has a state trooper standing in the background or in a corner. We do not have law enforcement here at the child support office that's waiting to haul people off to court. So I can safely say to non-custodial parents, if you have a family court capias, you can come to a child support office and we are not going to arrest you. We're not going to call the police and have you picked up. We will work with you on like I've already mentioned, how to resolve that capias and encourage you to take those steps to do that. But child support is not going to incarcerate someone for if you have a capias. So before I take the next question that just came in, I just want to say there's 9 minutes left. The May edition of the Child Support Connection is going to end at 12:30, but we will be back in June, the first Monday in June, and I want to go ahead and give out the customer service telephone numbers. It is 302-577-7171. Our fax number here, I won't give you my fax number. If you're having difficulty but you could fax, our fax number here is 302-395-6735, and if you could fax something, we'll certainly get a message to your caseworker. But call customer service. We have an automated assistance line. I should have mentioned this. That is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you have just want to find out payment information, you can call that 577 number, and the automated line will, if you have your case number, will tell you if a payment was received. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick is our customer website. If you go to the child support website, and you can go there through de.gov, and go to our child support website, there's information how you can sign up for our customer website. And that customer website, you actually create a username and password, and it will actually give you access to various pieces of your child support case, like an account statement. So if you want information about, you need to want to print an account statement from home, you can do that through our customer website. On our Facebook page, our community relations officer did a how-to video about how to sign up for the customer website. So please take advantage of that. You can actually, through that customer website, communicate with your worker directly, ask questions, and get responses back from them. So, I'm actually encouraging people to sign up for that customer website. So the question is, my case is out of Oklahoma. They say that they keep the tax intercept for 6 months. Delaware has no say about that, and that's actually that's a very good question. So, if a non-custodial parent is remarried and they file a joint tax return, Delaware does this too. Every state around the country does this. If they submit someone to the IRS and they intercept a joint tax return, that non-custodial parent and his current spouse are due to receive a refund. Child support agencies are required to hold that payment for 6 months. So this gives the non-custodial parent's current spouse an opportunity to file an injured spouse form with the IRS. so that they can get their portion of the tax refund directly sent to them by the IRS. So the child support agencies hold that payment for 6 months only for joint tax return filings. We hold it for 6 months to give the current spouse of the non-custodial parent the opportunity to file that injured spouse documentation with the IRS for their portion of the tax refund, because the IRS comes back to child support and pulls that portion of the refund away and takes it back from child support agencies. So we don't want to send that payment to custodial parents, because if the IRS takes that portion back, we have to come back to the child support constituent, the custodial parent, and say, ma'am or sir, you have to pay back to child support that portion of the payment, because the IRS has returned it to the current non-custodial parent's spouse. So I hope that helps, but it gives that current spouse the opportunity to get their portion of the tax refund. So Oklahoma, in this case, the state of Oklahoma has the same process that we do here in Delaware, that Pennsylvania does, that California does. We are all obligated to hold those joint tax returns for 6 months in order to refund, if that current spouse asks for their portion of the refund back, we're obligated to hold it. Now, if they're not remarried, and it's not a joint tax return, we do not have to hold that refund, and we can send it out to the custodial parent immediately. But it's only those tax returns that were jointly filed. So it's 12:26, and unless I see another question pop up in the next couple minutes, I just want to thank people for joining us, and just say, if you're, here's a little plug for my colleagues at the Division of Public Health who have worked very hard over the last year and 3 months or so. If you have not been vaccinated, I encourage you to go to de.gov. The state of Delaware is holding vaccination sites, no appointment necessary. You can practically walk in. I'm encouraging people to get vaccinated here in the state of Delaware. That's the only way, really, that child support agencies and other state agencies are going to be able to open their doors to the public, to encourage people to get vaccinated. So take that opportunity, practice those social distancing, wearing the mask, and washing your hands. Stay safe. Let's get those positive cases down to a reasonable number, and really do things to help your neighbors and help your family stay safe in the pandemic. So please really work hard to stay safe in Delaware. And if you're not vaccinated, or if you can help someone get vaccinated, if you are vaccinated, I thank you for doing that. I'm vaccinated and experienced very few side effects, and it was a quick recovery. So just do your thing to get vaccinated. And there's a lot of great information on the CDC website. There's great information on the state of Delaware's website. And like I said, you can basically walk in today and get vaccinated if you wanted and you had the time to do it. It's a quick process. When I got vaccinated at Deltec in Dover, both times I was there less than a half an hour and did it on my lunch break. So I'm encouraging people to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Child Support Connection. And I'll see you next month, the first Monday in June. We're going to go ahead and do this all over again. Encourage your family and friends who have a child support case in the state of Delaware or around the country to call in. Our 92.7 WGMD, the third Wednesday of every month. Download their app. It's very good. The quality is good. And I really want people to call in and ask questions. And just when you're doing that, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping another listener who may have a question. I encourage non-custodial parents to do it too. I'd love to take questions from non-custodial parents. That's one of the things I like to do, because I want to help them understand the child support process and encourage you to do so. So thank you again. If you didn't catch this whole child support connection, it'll be posted on our Facebook page in the next few minutes. And thank you again, and have a great day, and stay safe, okay? Thank you very much.